talk about rationing of healthcare, there's a lot of other stuff in here, sort of leads to that rationing part. Anyway, this is a glimpse into the future, I think, of what we're going to see. And as we proceed, remember, single payer and culture change is really the ultimate goal of ACA. That's Affordable Care Act. It is not healthcare. Okay, now prior to ACA, 85% of Americans are satisfied with their healthcare. Anyway, I'd like to remind folks of the good old days and how far we've regressed in the last 3 years. Now, there were issues prior to the Affordable Care Act. Pre-existing conditions was most notable. My feeling is that was a disgrace. That pre-existing conditions was a national disgrace. I really blame the Republicans for this. They had a chance, they could have fixed this a long time ago. If they had fixed this, we probably wouldn't have gotten Obamacare. Such and such, right? Okay. And we still don't have tort reform. There are projections that close to 30 million folks will be without coverage. Oh, I'm sorry. Will be without coverage when all the smoke clears. And this was projected a long time ago. This is not something new. And all this that it costs is really going to bankrupt our economy. Okay. We hear that 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every day. Let's look into this. What does it really mean, 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every day? Is this calculation of a 365-day year or a 360-day year, which is working days, okay? Now that number is based on a 5-day week. We basically have 2 weeks vacation, holidays, and sick time. For argument's sake, we'll consider a man here. A man here, been in management 80 hours as a man here. At least it was 9 years ago when I was employed by the company I worked for. So when you hired somebody, you had to have 80 hours of time that you really needed this person to fill. And if you divide that by 8 hours a day, you come up with the 260 days. Anyway, this is times 10,000 people that are retiring every day. So you get 2.6 million new enrollees in Medicare every year. Now, most of the projections for ACA are based on 10 years. Multiply this out by 10 years, you have 26 million people coming into Medicare over the next 10 years. Okay? Now, ACA is due to cut $719 billion from Medicare. Now, this is mainly reimbursement to doctors and hospitals. This stuff is going to be drastically cut. This is now started with cuts to Medicare Advantage. If you remember, this was proposed prior to the election. And the federal government put additional money into Medicare Advantage just to carry it on past the election. The cuts have now surfaced, okay? Next one. Anyway, do the math. Resources won't be available for this amount of people. And if you use 365 days, you're looking at 35 million over the same time period. Now, there's going to be some attrition, I guess, due to the normal death rate of employees. Probably go up if they're on Obamacare. But either way, you're going to get, how many people are going to be on this? I really don't know. Let me tell you, there is rationing in our future. These figures do not consider the increase of Medicaid patients going into ACA. Now, Medicaid, through the ACA. Now, Medicaid is now a 2-tier system. If you were eligible prior to the ACA, that's prior to 3/23/2010, the state pays at the old rate. After ACA is passed, Medicaid, there's a new rate and there's not a 5-year look back. If you were on Medicaid prior to 2010, you basically had to just about, given all your assets, you had to be just about totally poor in order to get on Medicaid. And there was a 5-year look back. If you got money, if you won the lottery or whatever, they could look back for 5 years, I believe, and the state had the ability to recoup what they had paid you in Medicaid. Okay. I understand there is no 5-year look back in the Medicaid rate. However, if you were eligible prior to 2010, the state and the federal government split the cost, 55-45. I believe the government paid 55 and the state paid 45. There's approximately 175,000 people eligible for Medicaid in the state prior to ACA. Now, they wouldn't go on Medicaid because they didn't want to meet all the restrictions. They would just go to the emergency room and get care, and they were a lot better off than going on Medicaid. However, under the new act, so anybody who applies for Medicaid who is eligible for the old rate, the state has to pick up that difference. Now, the new Medicaid patients after March 23rd, 2010, the government pays 100% for the first 3 years, 90% for the next 7, I believe, and then they pay nothing. After 10 years, the federal government pays nothing and the state picks it all up. So that's really the difference between the two. And this is going to result in new taxes for this state and for other states as the people who are eligible prior to ACA sign up and go on Medicaid. ACA has just got $150 billion for Medicaid Advantage. This slide looks a little odd in here. This is one of the ones I had to fit in because I just found out about this morning. So I wanted to make sure I got it in. Anyway, Medicaid Advantage is a that should be private. This is a supplemental private program. But what the government does, it provides reimbursement to doctors in the program through insurance companies. I don't know how the mechanism works for the reimbursement of the stroking your head, no. What? Okay, I don't know what the mechanism is, I really don't. This UHG, United Healthcare Group, has sent letters to doctors in 10 states cutting them out of the program. The doctors have 30 days to appeal. UHG has 350,000 doctors in the program. Thousands are affected. Nobody knows how many are affected at this time. This just happened today. Nobody has any numbers. However, they also have 3 million Medicaid Advantage members, mostly elderly, and most of whom will lose, a lot of whom will lose their doctors. All these doctors that are cut out of the program, they will not be able to service these people who are on Medicaid Advantage. So this is just starting. Okay. Next. Currently, the health care system is in shambles. This is in part since the zero tax. The administration and supporters justify the current situation with unintended consequences. They're going to work their way out. The policy is sound, and the end will be better off. And we have these substandard policies, and consumers are not intelligent. God, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I mean, these people are our representatives. We vote for them. We pay them a salary, and that's what they come back with. You were so dumb, you bought a substandard policy, you didn't know it, but we're going to fix it for you. To me, that's insane. I got to tell you. But anyway, how big are these unintended consequences? Damn, they're huge. As the truth emerges, a lot of these supporters are running for cover as well. The facts are that we were promised we could insure 30 million at no cost. This is the ultimate free lunch, or the ultimate scam, however you want to look at it, okay? And how do you do this? Well, you create ACA and pass a law that forces insurance companies to cancel policy. It is estimated that over 100 million will lose coverage by 2015. Now, you force folks to purchase government-regulated health insurance through the exchanges, okay? That's what we're doing right now, right? Now, you overcharge for minimum coverage by including services that nobody can use, nobody wants, and nobody needs. This creates a surplus.
That's like the
Yeah, that's right. This creates a surplus. The surplus, which is really basically a tax to anybody who's got health care, is used to pay for coverage of the previously uninsured. That's how to do this. And that's one of the reasons why the policies have gone up. The policies have gone up nationwide, I think 40-some%, I can't remember that here. And that's the way they're going to cover these 30 million people. You're going to pay for it. Now, the cancellation of policies was always intended. The administration estimated back in 2010 that over 90 million would lose their coverage. This is comes from Fox News, and evidently there are memos back and forth between the people who were part of this decision-making. Fox has them, and they don't like this, okay? Now, this includes both the independent insurance market and the employer market. The independent one is much smaller, it's about 15 million. The other one, the employer marketplace, is a lot bigger, a lot more people. This was always a strategy, and that's why the law was covertly modified to really ensure policy cancellation. They had to do this. Next one. This is wealth redistribution on steroids. You have to think about it. The increased health care costs is about $1 billion in new taxes. Now what this does is reduces savings. It really stifles accumulated wealth and property for the middle and upper middle class. Savings of wealth, accumulation, that reduces federal tax revenue. And it does it because once assets are purchased, there's really no way to tax the value of the asset. And it's like a home. You own a home. So you bought a home 40 years ago or something and you paid $50,000 for it. Now that home's worth $350,000. There's no way for the government to really get that money. Well, until you sell it or until you move it. It's basically, for most Americans, some of the biggest savings account they actually have. Now what a reverse mortgage does, when you have a reverse mortgage, you start taking the money out of that and putting it out of that home, and now you're putting it back into the system. Everybody who touches that money pays tax on it because it's somebody's income and it's taxed at the same thing as saving. It's basically the same thing. The transfer of assets equals federal tax dollars. Okay. The more folks spend, the more federal tax is generated, and the best condition for the federal government is if everybody spends everything they make. All this money continues to move through the system, and it's told that it's continually taxed. I think when the government gives out a stimulus, they put this money out. They actually get more money back than what the stimulus was that they put out, what the figure was that they gave out. Because as that money moves through the government, there's a formula for that. I don't know what it is. I'm not even talking to Congress. But there is a formula for that. As that money moves through the system, they actually wind up with more tax dollars than money that